Hey guys, welcome to our SoulFam Podcast, where I interview space holders from all over the world. I'm your host. My name is Karolina, and I am the Connection Catalyst. I help spiritual entrepreneurs experience deeper connection with themselves, with others, and with the universe. Today on the show, we have Marina Dietrich, the soul magic coach and yoga teacher. Welcome to the show, Marina. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me. I'm really well. I'm actually feeling, super excited.
I'm super glad.
Yeah.
Me too. Especially that all the themes that we're going to talk about are so exciting. We're going to talk a little bit about shamanism and about the women's circle and ISTA training, which is the International School of Temple Arts training that we've done together. And I'm just so excited to share about it with people because I don't think I've touched upon it much on the podcast. And it has been such a transformative experience for me. But before we jump into all that, I would love if you could share a little bit of your backstory of your journey, maybe of your spiritual awakening as well. When did it happen? How did it start? Because this is always exciting how people get to change their lives and get, becoming a coach, becoming a healer. So I would love if you can share your story with us.
Yes, sure. So actually, so where do I start? I was modeling before all this, and I was actually having a contract in Cape Town. And my friend, she took me to yoga, and I was like, no, yoga, I will fall asleep. I need something like boxing or dancing or running or spinning or something. I need action. And she's like, no, come with me. So till then, I was like partying, I was drinking, I was the extreme of extreme. I was like enjoying life in like another way and having lots of clothes and not like I was traveling, but still like collecting lots of clothes. I was traveling with like 30 kilos or so. So it was crazy. And so just to tell you a little bit background on this, because then with the yoga, I came out of this yoga class with her and I was like, wow, I feel like a newborn. This just like gave me so much energy and so much aliveness. I need more of this. And so we went to that class for like, I think, so I was there with her 3 months. And then after that, I kept going. So we went almost every second day. And after these, like in between the 6 months I was in Cape Town, like maybe the 4th month or so, things shifted. So I went to the supermarket and was like, why do I eat all this stuff wrapped in plastic? Why do I eat all this meat? Why do I eat that and this and that? And well, the meat wasn't there yet, but I was starting to think. And then I started also to think about life. Why do people believe in God? What is their intention of like living? So I really started to questioning the life and everything what happened in my life. So I asked a few friends and they were like, Marina, are you okay? They weren't used to those questions there because I was texting them like, tell me, why do you or other people believe in God? Tell me. I want to know. I want to know like your perspective on it because I have no answer. Until that point, I was not believing in God because my dad passed away when I was 18. And I was like, he took my dad away from me and, all those things, what happened in your mind. And so from that point, that's why that point is really important for me. My whole life changed. So I went back home to my mom and she made my favorite food, which was a chicken. It's called Hühnerfrikassee in German, but it's like a chicken something like, with rice. And when I came and ate that, I was like, this chicken doesn't taste like anything. I could eat my finger or something. It kind of like tastes like nothing. And from that point on, the meat thing happened as well. So I started to question myself, why do I eat meat? And everything changed. I told you, everything changed. And so I was like, this change in my life, I want to bring to other people as well. I want to really I want everyone to feel this aliveness, this energy of life, and also like finding new pathways, because I was always calling myself the black swan in the whole family or in the world, because everything bad happened to me at that time. And then I started to rethink all this, and I realized, well, I'm the master of my thoughts, I'm the master of my life. So I'm the one who is changing, first of all, my thoughts and then my life. And when I realized that, I was like, this is what I really want to give out into the world. I want to help other people. I want to help them heal. I want to help them to find their own light in the dark, you know? And so then I went to India to do my yoga teachers training. And from that on, I did one in Peru, where I also did a shamanic coach, like a shamanic teacher training. And yeah, I did so many things. Soul coaching. I did, I don't know how this is called in English, where you can like put your family into positions and
like family systems.
Yes, family systems, something. And many more things, like women's circle facilitator training in, like, I can, yeah, whatever you want, I can count it on. It's like I did so much, what, like, first of all was for myself, because I was like, I want to dive deeper and deeper and deeper, and it got even deeper than I thought, and took all the black dots out of my body. And being like, even ISTA, as you said, like even ISTA still gets some dots out of me, and being like, okay, this is more to release. And I love that, when I feel like, okay, there is still something, let's release it, let's do something for it. And that's, yeah, I mean, we are never done, right? So what I love is like helping people who are not there yet, who are not like really conscious about their dark spots inside, like in their hearts, in their bodies. Because pain also, I think you talked with Sebastian about that, because emotions get stuck in your body, and then you have pain in your back, in your leg, whatever, in your shoulder or whatever. It's like mostly emotional. He probably said it's from the brain, but from the brain is the emotion, you know, because we get associated with that emotion. And yeah, all this, like helping those people to rise, to find their light, to find their path, to find their soul magic.
That's so beautiful, so magic. I love that. That's so amazing. I love your story as well, how you're just like, oh my God, I'm changing this. Oh my God, the meat doesn't taste good anymore. And it's just so cool how it happens naturally for people. If we are already on the path of awakening to higher and higher aspects of us, expanding our consciousness, then it's so natural to shift things, right? Like right now I go to the shop, and you know, years ago I would buy probably most of the stuff. Now I'm thinking like, maybe if there is 10% things that I want to buy in the normal store, it's good, like in a grocery store, right? Because most of these things are so chemically infused that I'm just like, why are people even selling that? And the thing is that I don't even feel like eating it anymore. Like in the past, I liked it, and now I cannot even imagine myself eating it anymore. And so it's so beautiful how our body, our consciousness is just shifting for us to be more and more fulfilled in our life, and things that we used to like in the past are just not resonating with us anymore. And it's so natural for us. We don't have to force it. We don't have to push it. And I feel like for so many people, it's like, oh, I don't want to quit this, I don't want to quit that. Well, you don't have to. Do some yoga, meditate, have some awareness, do emotional healing, and then your body will be vibrating so high that you're just not going to even want to eat it. And of course, if you can be like consistent with yourself, and you can stop eating some things, it's going to have the effect on the other way around, right? When you don't eat shitty food, then your consciousness is also going to get higher. But like we need to balance it out so that you are always happy on the journey, I guess, as well. Because like also, I love chocolate, for example, so I'm going to keep eating chocolate, of course vegan,
I just
and of
want
course
to
healthy.
say the dark chocolate is healthy, but that's also like it, you know, you love chocolate, but at some point, as more conscious you get, as more yoga you do, or as more like inner work you do, the more you're like, wait, there is a lot of sugar in that piece of chocolate I just ate. It just doesn't feel right anymore. So you take a step higher and a step higher. And then at some point you're just only drinking like ceremonial cacao, and do it like a ceremony out of it. Yeah, which leads me to all the shamanic tools I have, which I love. I
Yes,
really
please
enjoy.
tell us.
Yes, I can't tell you everything. It's a secret, but if you come into a coaching with me, so that would actually, like, we would talk about something, what is your pain point in your life, and then we figure out which is the way to it, and there are many tools. It's not only the ceremonial cacao. You have so many tools which you can use to get into the little spots which hurts inside of you, and find out which is the way out. And so if cacao is not the first one, I always use cacao. So if it's not the first vehicle, I would say the first car of helping, and I feel like this person is maybe not right there yet for the cacao, we go into the end. Because also I have this happiness journey where it's like going through the shamanic wheel, which is like the serpent, the jaguar, the colibri, and the condor, so, or eagle. So yeah, whatever you see that as the higher perspective. So you go through phases, you go through like shedding your skin and shedding everything that doesn't belong to you, or that doesn't feel good to you right now. And then you go with the jaguar, you go into the dark spots. You feel like, because then they're open, and then we go in there. And when we go in there, it doesn't feel that painful anymore when you shed all the layers with your serpent, with your snake, because then when you're at that point, you're like, oh shit, that wasn't even that bad. But you see it from the outside, from the serpent side, you're like, oh no, I don't want to go there because it hurts so much. But as soon as you shed the layers and you get into the point, you're like, that was easy. Most of the time. Sometimes, of course, they're like still tears running, which is amazing, because then you feel the pain point, and then after that it's gone. And yeah, so then we go into the colibri, which is the lot more light and easy way. So we find your way of moving through life with different tools. So I give also different tools to that person who, like, whatever this person needs for the life, to bring into the life, like little rituals, little details to add onto the life, to feel more light, to feel more that easiness of the colibri, like enjoying the flowers, enjoying the lightness of like, ooh, And then with the condor or the eagle, we see everything from above, and we find, like, we see our life or the person's life from the top, and we see, okay, this is where we're at, and that's where she wants to go, or he. And then we find a way, because when you look from the top, from like all over it, so it's kind of like you watch your life from above, and then you see your way, where you want to go and where you want to be, and then you actually have an idea, because you're not in the emotion, you're outside of it, and that helps so much. And then in the end, if there wasn't cacao before, we have like a ceremony with the cacao and a smooth leading out, because the cacao opens the heart, opens you for love, opens you for like walking your soul path. And if that person is already on the soul path, we start opening the soul path with the cacao, and then we go through the serpent, like all the things as well, because every person is different, and every person starts somewhere else, but still you can go through the whole shamanic wheel, and those energies help. Like they're like energies, they're really, the animals are just like symbolic, but they're the 5 elements, and they come together to help you rise and to help you shine. Yeah.
Wow, that's so nice. I love this journey of going through all these different animals and their qualities. I freaking love it. And I have a question to you about the soul path, because like, we say that people are on the soul path, but I feel like it's sometimes it's used in different ways, and I feel like everyone is on some kind of soul path in a way, because even if someone is massively in their ego and massively in their personality, it's like, and you know, they're attached to it and so on, it's still the soul choosing to be in this human form and being in their ego and being massively attached to their identity, right? So I just want to like clarify what you mean
Are
by
you
the
sure?
soul path in this because, you know, like I know that you can feel more, let's say, embodied in your higher self perspective in life. So then you will be more loving, you will be more compassionate and so on. But our personality, our body is like an extension of our soul. And even though like there are people, you know, experiencing like, let's say, bad emotions, or they are just addicted to alcohol, or they are just watching TV all day, or, you know, or just they are just not cool people to hang out with. They are just, you know, making problems, or they're aggressive or whatever. And then the discrepancy between their soul and how their human mind behaves is very different. But still, the soul wouldn't, like, the soul chose this life of this person who is, for example, an alcoholic for some reason, right? For expansion, for experience of this specific path. So then, like, what do you mean specifically in your definition as soul path?
Thank you for that question. It's amazing. So I would definitely say yes to everything you said, but the person came into that life with the soul to experience that pain. And with that pain, as deeper it goes, the soul actually wants to show you, hey, there's something to heal. So yes, we have an ego, which sometimes helps us and saves us. And, you know, there is nothing bad about an ego. But if you're like in the path of like, yeah, let's keep doing it with the alcoholic, or someone who is like collecting lots of cars and houses and
like hoarder.
and what, you know, yes, they got born into that. But are they conscious about that? Are they conscious that your soul is that who chose that? And then do you feel as that person? If there's any person watching this, please tell me and come to me and tell me, are you conscious about what your soul wants? Is it really that what your soul wants? Or is it just that it wants you got born into that life to get you actually out of it and heal it? So please, whoever is watching it, who has this trouble, come to me and let me know. Because this is, for my perspective and my experience, I work with people, is mostly, and yes, I'm not saying that we all have to be like love and bubble and light and woo. We can have our emotions of like anger and sadness and everything, shame, whatever, but in a healthy way, you know? Like when we hit people, punch people, and, you know, whatever else can happen, I don't think that is conscious of living your emotion. And that's for me like an ego trigger, where like also the soul is saying, hey, look, it's really bad. You're in jail right now. I actually just wanted to show you that your life can be better and you can heal. You can do something about it. Be conscious about it. But yeah, some people are never there who listen to their soul, to their inner full body yes, I would say. Because I don't think if you do something bad to people, it's a full body yes. I'm sure there is some story behind and some pain. And yeah, it's just like, I would say the soul, like getting you deeper down into that hole till you actually like, oh shit, I should change my life. I hear many people who have bad accidents and they're like, shit, how did I live my life before? I should change something about it. And that's what soul is like, really punching you, like, look at it, you know? And that's maybe what you're asking, right?
Yeah, I'm just questioning. I agree with you on everything that you said, that if we live more in alignment with the frequency of our soul, let's say, then of course we are more loving and compassionate. But also, I just want to question it because, you know, sometimes from this standpoint, some people maybe that are just starting their journey or whatever might feel like, okay, so people who are living more in alignment with their soul are better than the people who are not developed yet. But it's not really about that. It's about like how conscious you are. And I actually heard a very nice comparison from my best friend yesterday, where I don't know where she read it or how she maybe got some download or some vision of it, but the comparison was like, for example, being closer to the source, being closer to your soul. It's like, okay, there is a shop, and then let's say Martin is closer to the shop, it's like 1 meter from the shop, and then Christian is like 200 meters from the shop. And it's like, is one better than the other? Well, not really. One is just further than the other to the shop.
Exactly.
If you look at like, okay, who is closer to the, let's say, city center, because the shop is in the suburbs, then Christian would be closer to the city center. It's just like, okay, this is where you're at, this is where someone else is. And it's not really about the hierarchy. It's just the fact that someone is, let's say, closer to their soul in everyday life, and they are maybe connecting to their soul on a daily basis, so they are closer, right? And then someone is maybe not connecting at all, so they are really far away from the shop, for example. So I'm just questioning and talking about it, because I feel like it's important to know that even if you don't find yourself still that, oh my God, I'm not living in alignment 100% with my soul yet. It's like, but it's a journey that you develop, and you just closer and closer to who you really are and to your authentic self. And if you work on yourself emotionally, you work on your traumas, you go to women's circles or other circles as well, and then you are more authentic, you express yourself more, and then the alignment comes. And so that brings me to this women's circle
wait
topic.
1 second, because that is actually everything you say is so right. And I think it's also on the conscious people who are like, you're better or worse, or you're not there yet. This judgment, I never judge. I never judge where a person is. I never judge where a person is when she or he is coming to me, or when I see someone walking there. I never judge. I never judge the system right now. I don't judge. It's their pain, their story. And I'm just happy to welcome everyone wherever they are at. That's why my journey is called the happiness journey, because it's a journey and it's never ending. That's what I also said in the beginning. Never ends. It always is a path, and there's no one being like further away or this or that, or like being the older soul, or it's like you are where you're at, and that's perfect. And it's perfect when you realize you want to go a step further.
Perfectly. That's very well put. I'm just talking about it because now there is such a boom for spirituality, and I had the perspective that there are better and worse people in spiritual evolution at the beginning of my journey. So I just wanted to mention it, so that all the people who listen, who might still have some blocks around it, they just know that they are amazingly perfectly where they need to be for the highest expansion of their own soul. So that's just what I wanted to mention. But let's talk about women's circles as well.
Yes.
Because you've done a training. Like, I've never done a training in this specific theme, but I've run some circles as well, just because I've done training in like emotional release and inner child work and some other topics like that. So I'm just intuitively guiding it too. But I'm curious to know, because you've done a training, like what maybe some of the things that they teach you in a training, in a way that, like, if you would like to run a women's circle, what do you need to know? And also, like, what is it even for? Because maybe some people have not heard of it.
So first of all, I want to tell you why I got to that point, because it was actually like the beginning, the first lockdown of COVID. I was like imagining my dream client, this business kind of things. And I was like, I would love to have a business guy who is like not having time, who has to take me to his holiday because he doesn't have time for yoga. I'm like, do I really want to have this person? I'm not sure. Who do I love to work with? It's actually women, because they have so much pain from like generations before, generations and generations. And then during COVID, I did an online course for Women's Circle. And what actually got me into the whole thing, saying, yes, I do this, was that I saw, okay, we have different layers. We have this background of like, we women we are not allowed to be higher than men, or, we are equal. And that's what society and most women still don't realize, that there is like this male and female energy inside of us. And then also like having, like working, especially here in Munich, like working in like a man ruled business, like women come out there being like super rough. They forgot their women's side. And then there are women, they're like doing nothing because they're just surrendering all the time, but they don't get anywhere, which also has, like in women's circle, we do help them to rise, to get their inner warrior out and be like, yes, I want to do this. I want to get stuff done and not just chill and be lazy or like surrender, you know? I mean, there's nothing bad about surrendering. What, like, it's amazing, but we still have to find our balance in the female and male energy. So we can surrender, and maybe in 2 days when we are like, okay, I'm enough surrendered, I'm really charged up. And then usually when you're really charged up, you already feel that inner warrior to go and do your stuff and do your ideas. And with surrendering, we women, we get the ideas, and then we still need the power of like, yes, let's do it. And yeah, to get this one awake and the other one awake, we do women's circle. I do it with a friend of mine, and she's doing the tantric part. I do the shamanic part, which is like super nice, of like combination of tools and things we do together. But I also do like one-on-ones where I like would sit with you now and see, okay, let's see, your inner warrior is not awake yet, or maybe your wise woman is still sleeping, or your mother is too active because you care too much about other people but not about yourself, you know, because there are archetypes. And Carl Gustav Jung, he's actually one of the main actors for like the archetypes, you know, and that's what I work mostly with, because we all have those archetypes which are connected to the chakras as well. And so this is such a great connection of like finding where is your imbalance as a woman. And then you get your female and male balanced when you work on those.
That's beautiful. I love that. I love working with archetypes during the circles. It sounds amazing because for me, mostly the circles that I've been to were guided in a way where everyone was able to express however they feel, and everyone else was very receptive to it. And maybe the circles that I've run, I've kind of like just guided people through the healing when they were expressing things, and so that they actually can release and shift something, or some visualizations and so on. But mostly the circles that I've gone to were just everyone was able to just say things that they are feeling in the moment, and everyone else was just listening. And it's very healing just to do even this, right? Because you can express yourself, and you can feel so held by other women or other people, because it doesn't have to be only women. That brings me to then the next theme that I want to talk about, because actually on ISTA we women were witnesses to male circle, and to me it was one of the most opening experiences when it comes to understanding men, because I've never been a part of a men's circle, obviously, right? Because like I'm a woman, so no one is gonna let me go to the male circle. But actually it's a pity, because I feel like so many women, if they could just witness, just without saying anything, if they could just listen, they would discover how many struggles men have. Because like obviously we know that, okay, women were suppressed and feminine energy is suppressed, and we struggle and we have periods and we have so many problems, and you know, we really focus on like almost like victims a little bit, you know, and men are stronger and they were suppressing us and all these things, but men struggle too. And of course, without going into detail, when these men were vulnerable and they were expressing things, I was like, oh my God, I would never even think that this is the issue that a man can have. And it's like, because it hasn't even crossed my mind, because it's not spoken about, I feel. You know, everyone speaks about how we have pain when we have period, or how, you know, we need to stand up for ourselves as women and so on. But no one really talks about it. And it's also probably because men are more closed off, and they cannot really, and like naturally, they struggle more to talk about emotions because of the societal structures and so on. Like men don't cry.
Exactly.
Shit like that, right?
Men don't cry, and you have to be strong. You have to be the warrior, and you can't be soft, because soft is pussy, like,
Yeah. And
no.
so for me,
Also
it was just
men
so
have
great.
both female and male.
Yeah,
It's not
that's so
only
true.
us. Yeah. And it's amazing how we actually saw this on ISTA, and I needed that too, because I realized also like how beautiful it is to have a men's circle. But people ask me, why women's circle, why not everyone? It's exactly that, because we have still those topics about like, okay, men shouldn't cry, men shouldn't be soft, men should be hard and strong, and women should be like really surrendering to the man and be like just do whatever the man wants, all those things we have like from society, from generations. And because of this, we can't like put everyone together and hope that this works. It's first we need both separated to find their balance of female and male energy in themselves, to then come back into a human circle and enjoy the wholeness of every part, like female and male. Then we are all one. Then it's no difference anymore. There's no like, what I'm saying. It's like there is no difference anymore.
Yeah, and I resonate with that. I feel like both of the ways are great to do, like where you are only around women and when you're also mixed, because it also depends on how it is guided. But yeah, I definitely think that women's circle are also very important to be guided, and men's circle like separately, because then also just the vibe of like being with only women is just completely different, and it's just like so flowy and feminine and soft and so on. So I totally resonate with that. But let's talk a little bit about ISTA if we're on this theme already. I'm really curious to know, because we've done it like a few months ago already, and after such a long time, I would be curious to know, what are your biggest takeaways that you are happy to share? Obviously, like not doesn't have to be all takeaways, but what are the main points that have shifted in your life after this training?
Definitely my relationship, because I was there with my husband, and I love that we both worked on ourselves. We weren't working together on it, but we were in the same group, which is amazing. So he could hold space for me, and I could hold space for him. And we just had eye contact, and we knew we are connected. There's no need of like touch, or like I need you to have clothes all the time, or it was so beautiful to know. I mean, we trust each other anyway already, but that was such a closing of our relationship, like a
bonding.
Really bonding, bubbling up into relationship, with actually not being in the same room, or being in the same group, or being in the same energy field, Yeah, that was really amazing. So, and also like many things that got us also into like thinking different paths, so different ways. So we talked about things we realized in our like journeys in ISTA. We talked about it, and we both could actually talk about it without the other person getting angry about it, because the person got triggered or whatever. Because in general life, we got really triggered from each other. And we just realized the other day when we had a fight, simple things, like sometimes it's just like it
Burst
happens
of
because
energy.
bam, and then the person got it, and then the other person is triggered, and like boom. And usually we stumbled that up into like a big explosion, which was hurtful and painful and not beautiful at all. And we just realized the other day, we were like bam, 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 separating. I did my thing. I was out running a little bit, just going into nature and like getting that energy out. And he was meditating and stretching also in the nature. And we came back as fresh humans, as, we could easily talk about this. And we were like, that was such a random and stupid thing to fight about. And I love you. And everything was fine. That was never happening before. That was usually like the night we were sleeping angry at each other, and the next morning he was still pissed. I usually get really easily like being like, fuck it, it doesn't matter anymore. And I love this person. But it took him a while longer. usually, but that was so beautiful just to know we got so much further in our relationship, in our like experience together on this planet than we actually imagined before. So
Oh,
that was
that's
a big,
so
big thing I got.
beautiful.
Yeah, I really
Oh
a
my
big
God.
thing I got out of this. And of course, for
So
myself,
beautiful.
seeing there's still like I can, um, yeah, still work on myself here and there, and still some spots. But the main thing was definitely our relationship that, yeah,
Hmm. And
walked a beautiful path now.
you guys are really brave that you go for ISTA training together as partners, because there is also
Mm,
some tantric and emotional and sexual practices that say, or that you can explore if you'd like to. And so it's really, really courageous to actually go with your
mm,
partner, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know what
that's
kind of
true.
triggers you're going to be encountering, because it can be a lot, right? When you're like,
Yes.
yeah, when you're in these experiences. But I'm really glad you shared that, because it's interesting to
Mm,
hear the perspective of someone who was there in a couple, right? And you're in
mhm.
a committed relationship, and you're your husband and wife, and we had
Yes.
only two couples, and the other one was polyamorous, so it's kind of a little bit different, I guess,
Mhm.
for them, because it's just more open. And I would also actually love to share my experience, what I got
Yes.
out of it. I think that the biggest thing in the whole training that I got out of it, that is the idea that if someone says no to you, they are saying yes to themselves. And
Mhm.
it's like, it actually spills over so many things in life. It's like, it's a whole new understanding for me, especially with my abandonment wound from childhood and so on, when I felt
Mm,
rejected by my parent and so on. It's like, okay, he just said yes to himself. He didn't say no to me. And then, even though maybe he didn't spend a lot of time with me, it was just his yes to himself based on his level of
mm,
consciousness that he was, at the moment. And this understanding, then just kind of going through all these situations in my mind of people who rejected me, or that's what I thought before, just got me kind of understanding that, like, okay, no one actually really rejected me. Like, there is no such thing
mm,
really as rejection in a way that we understand it. It's just that people are saying yes to their own truth, to their own authentic
mhm.
self. And it's just shifted so much for me, this one understanding that, oh my God, like, seriously, I feel like I was a whole new person once I actually really adopted this thinking, because of course I knew it intellectually, but once I felt it emotionally, and how we had these little practices of like saying no to someone, no matter how much they beg us, or no matter how much of a victim they are, or no matter how much they bully us and so on,
Mm,
like saying no, and just repeatedly, or saying no to people, like the practice that someone wanted to hug us or do something, kiss us on the cheek, and we had to say no, just comfortably, just getting comfortable about saying no. I think that was a big theme as well, and really
yeah,
understanding, like, no, it can be a no for now. It doesn't have to be a no in 5 minutes or in a
exactly.
week or two, but for
Yes.
now, energetically, this doesn't feel right. But it doesn't mean that it can, it doesn't have to feel right all the time. And I
Mhm.
think that another thing is this theme of boundaries. I remember our guide told us something like, just be open to have your boundaries like stated in the moment, rather than having a preconceived idea in your
Yes.
mind of what your boundary is. Because, like, what if this
Mhm.
person that wants to, I don't know, hold your hand now, has some energy that they want to pass to you, and it's actually great for you, but you're going to be like, no, I'm not holding hands with women, for example. I mean, I'm just
Mhm.
coming up with random ideas, but like,
Yeah.
what if this woman right now has something to pass to you, but you don't feel it in your heart, and you have a preconceived boundary of like, no, I'm not doing this with that person, right?
Mhm.
So, like,
Yes.
just the idea of like being open and being receptive to the energy, and deciding about your boundaries in the moment, rather than coming from your mind and like before Ista thinking like, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm never going to do that, and so on. Just being open to all the experiences, and just deciding in the
Mm.
moment what's alive and what is aligned for this specific here and now. That was a big theme for me as well, because I feel
Mm.
like I'm a person that always had that like preconceived idea. Okay, this is what I do, this is what I don't do, like, this is who I am, this is my identity. But here it was like, just throw it all away and just feel
Mhm.
in the moment. So that was like a big
Yeah.
theme for me as well.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Wow. It's so amazing to also like get that reminder again. It's like, oh yeah, that was a topic too. And I also had this moment where, especially with the no, where you usually feel rejected. I also like had this moments where I'm like, why this person says no right now? And it's not about me. And that is such a big thing of feeling. It's not about knowing, it's about feeling, as you say. It's like it has to come from your mind into your body. And there we go again. From the ego, it's like boundaries. No, 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 no. It has to melt into your body and you have to feel it. Is it really true? Is it really there? It's like exactly that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
just so amazing when you can be in the space of people who are so safe in a way. Like everyone was so
Yes.
open, so loving, so welcoming with their energy that even if you got a
Yeah.
no, you knew that it's not personal. And I feel like it's such a beautiful lesson of not taking things personally. And it was just so, for me, yeah, it has shifted a lot in my life. And of course, I also got some insights about my sexuality as well, because, you know, when you can open yourself up and experience various sexual ways of how you can connect with people, it doesn't have to be, you know, very deep, but it, you know, can be all just it can be light, whatever you want. I got a lot out of it, just like opening up to the ideas that before I said like, oh no, this is what I'm definitely not going to do, and this is who I am, and so on. So yeah, for me, it's just big identity shift, I could say, happened after ISTA. And of course, just the community, just the vibes, and sharing circles every day, and just dancing every day, and you know, just being with each other every day. Also, just so beautiful. And also being on Samothraki Island in Greece and connecting to nature every day, waterfall. It was just such a beautiful experience that I highly recommend to anyone who is thinking about it, who have heard of it before, to do this, because it's really, really worth it.
Yeah, I definitely miss it sometimes. It's like I would love to sit in a pot right now and just share my feelings or dance my soul out. I mean, I do it, but it just so much more energy of like having a whole room full of people dancing their souls out and being like, yes,
yes, exactly. All right, so one last short question to you: where could people find you if they would like to see your content, or maybe come for a session, or just see what you're about?
So Instagram, Namastri. You can also go on namastri.com. It's my blog where I also have some recipes. I also have like a nutrition coach training. So it's like I told you, I got many things. So yeah, that's my blog where I also talk about my travels and my journeys, my yoga and whatever. You can read lots there, and also about my essential oils and everything. And namastri.de is the German website where I'm more about like my services. But if you want to work with me, if you want to feel called of like getting a session with me, just check on Namastri and send me a message, because that's the easiest way.
Perfect. Thank you so much, beautiful sister, for being on this podcast today with us. I really, really appreciate it. It's been a great conversation.
Yes, I love it. And I loved seeing you and sharing everything with you, and also about ISTA. I wasn't speaking too much about ISTA yet. So thank you.
Thank you.
Lots of love to you.